I've been a fifth grade teacher, fifth or sixth, for 26 years now. I love teaching. I've noticed a huge change over the 26 years that I've taught. When I first started, we knew a lot of the teachers all the way across the district. I was in a school that had 2 classrooms per grade, and we could do things together. That worked. As we've gotten larger and larger, one of the biggest drawbacks to a big district is that it's one of the biggest predictors in large schools. They can't politically provide the funding necessary to build the schools that need to be built. And so wherever you've had large districts, you always get larger and larger and larger schools, and they can never go backwards once they've gotten big. Politically, they can't. So we've gone into where we had 400 or 500 in an elementary school. Now we're up to between 800 to 1,400 in an elementary school. That makes it very difficult to get into the gym, for instance. You can't schedule it because you've got too many teachers that all want it. Or you've gone to a productivity model where, well, there's a lot of problems with that as well. But the Lehigh area is one of the most impacted, as well as west part of Jordan District, the west side of Granite District, the north side of Davis District. They're the growing areas, and they're the most impacted with the problems of big districts. They can't build the schools and fast enough, so they instead build regional schools. And it's hard to pass, like Alpine District lost 2 bond elections in the late 80s to build schools in the Orem area when Orem was growing. And Orem wanted to divide off then because they wanted to be able to build schools for their city. And the north part of the district wouldn't let them. Well, now it's just the reverse. The Lehigh area, North County, is growing rapidly. Orem is either static or even declining a little bit. And so now some of them don't want to pay for the schools in the north part of the county. And so while the Orem schools ended up bigger than the rest during the 80s, now the big schools are in the north part of the district. And it just gets ever bigger. You can't get enough of a political agreement all the way across the regional district to build the schools that need to be built. So how would it impact me in my classroom? I believe were we to get community districts, the people would do what was necessary to build the schools they needed, and that would free teachers up more to be working with the community to provide the education the parents wanted. We'd have greater satisfaction. There wouldn't be this push for vouchers, or even for that matter charter schools, I don't believe, if we were able to get them back to community districts. In fact, there is research on my website that also shows there's a direct correlation between private school attendance and big districts. The bigger the district, the more probable that they will have a lot of private school enrollment. There's even there's some legislation that they're trying to push around the country, a 65% solution where they mandate the 65% of the revenues have to go to the classroom. What they found in doing the study with it was that and it was a direct line correlation. If you have larger districts, you have less of the money getting down to the classroom. When you've got smaller districts, unless you get too small, you have a higher percentage that met the 65% requirement. Back down to a question that some have asked, well, what does it do to a teacher? Well, the legislation that we passed requires that they end up with the same contract that they had in the past. And then from then on, they just go ahead the same way they have been doing. They contract with the local association or however they want to do. But it would be up to the locally elected board members the direction that they went, working with the teachers in the future.